Bono, how are you?
Good, man. Just had a nice weekend. Watched a lot of football. Excited for the national championship game tonight, and yeah, we'll see what happens.
That's exactly it. We're going to touch base on, like say, we did a Sault Ste. Marie High School coaches poll on the wild card weekend, so we'll touch base a little bit on that and maybe possibly the national championship. But we're here for the sports talk with Bono and House. First things first, every week, one thing about this program or this show is we're going to talk about local scores. Not a lot of scores going on right now, except for really the Lake State Lakers. So it's something that they have their basketball teams playing right now. The girls actually played their first game this afternoon. Unfortunately, they lost in Detroit against Wayne State. LSSU hockey won both games, took overtime in the second game for them to win. And the men's basketball went 1-1. Your idea on about how they're playing over there and maybe we're not playing here, is it because of the U.S. Canada? You think, Bono?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we talked a little bit about this last week. I know I want to talk a little bit more about COVID in a bit, but I agree. I think that I think the reason is if you look at Sioux, Michigan, for example, they have I think over 1,600 cases, of COVID over there, and they're still able to make it work, right? Which is a little bit, I don't know. It makes me wonder about if they can make it work over there, could we make it work over here? It's tough, right? It's hard.
And that's one thing is we're I don't know if he's watching before he comes on, but we have Coach Etienne Jacquette from Agoma OUA Thunderbirds men's basketball. We know Etienne has his own thoughts on COVID and when it comes to basketball, so he might be able to give us a little bit of a perspective on that end regarding those things. But little talk about, we got a little bit of time before coach is coming on. High school wild card NFL picks. Everybody's 3-3 and you're 4-2. How in the hell does that happen?
When you understand football, you just make the right picks, right? I mean, that's just how it goes. No, I think I'm probably one of the few people that took the Rams to beat the Seahawks, and yeah, I don't know. If you look, they always say defense wins championships, and that Rams defense is unbelievable. So, do I think they have a chance next week at Green Bay? I believe I picked them this week, so I don't know if that has to do with the fact that they're playing Green Bay or that I actually think they're going to win. So, obviously, I'm a Lions fan, so my distaste for Green Bay is obvious.
So it's something, like I say, we have 7 other coaches, all junior and senior football coaches at the high school level. Are you just taking a little bit of a shot from them, and you're not coaching there, so that's why you get to take the shot?
That's right. Just I know. You know what? If I was that smart, I wouldn't be working because I would just make my picks all day. So I'll take one lucky week and move on.
and we know you don't like to gamble at all either, right?
No, not at all.
No. just to touch base, who did you pick for this coming up? This for the divisionals.
So for the divisionals, so I took Kansas City. I think KC is going to. I love the Cleveland story. I loved the Cleveland story. It was a fun game to watch, but I think they're going to be in tough next week against KC. I do think KC's going to make it to the Super Bowl again. So, and then Baltimore is playing. Who are they playing, Jay? I'm drawing a blank.
I just had it up here. Baltimore. Oh, geez. No.
Buffalo. That's right.
Buffalo.
Baltimore and Buffalo. Yeah. Yeah, both teams obviously strong. I mean, Buffalo's just look unbelievable right now. I like the way that Baltimore can pound the ball, though, and I do think that they'll be able to potentially pull out the upset. But I have to go with Buffalo. I have to. I just think it's going to be a nice close game. And then
go ahead.
Green Bay versus LA. I don't know. I'm going with the Rams. I think the Packers are. I think Aaron Rodgers has played lights out, but I do think that, despite, they have a great record, but, I don't know. That roster, you look at that roster and you look at what they have, one wide receiver really, and it's frustrating. I don't know. I can't see them doing it. So I'm going to take the Rams. And then in the other NFC battle, it is
Tampa Bay.
Tampa. That's right. I took the Bucks. I think Brady's going. I think Brady is going to another Super Bowl, to be honest. So
You think Ben's down in Pittsburgh?
watching him after that game yesterday was it was pretty. I mean, it was touching. You see him sitting on the bench. He looked like he was done. When I saw that, I thought he was done. I thought he looked like it. He looked like this is it. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to take this in. Like this is it. That's what it appeared to me.
But it's something that we've all been there. I don't mean at the NFL level, but in sports somehow or another, when you've said this is it, right?
Yeah. No, it's so true. And he just looked like it was done. And I don't know. It's sad. I mean, I'm no Pittsburgh fan by any means, but Ben Roethlisberger is, he's a monster. He's fun to watch.
And it's something we're going to talk about in the shows coming up about where are they now and stuff like that. And there's life always after sports, right? No matter if it's professional, OUA, college, even like you say, it might be AAA hockey. There's always life after sports, right?
Yep. Oh, 100%. Yep.
At that level, a little bit different when it comes to transition, but still, it's life after sports.
Yep. No, I agree.
So, the other things we're going to touch base on tonight, and again, like I say, we coach said it'd be about 7:15 when he comes on board, but we're going to talk a little bit about the NHL training camps 2021. Sault Ste. Marie, like I say, the ties we have here with the guys from Sault Ste. Marie and also guys that played here as Greyhounds. We're going to talk about again, and then 18 Jacquet, the OUA coach, where we're going to talk a little bit about recruiting, about how COVID's really screwed his season up. And not just his, but also the women's basketball and soccer at Algoma and across the country.
Yeah, that's good. I'm looking forward to the conversation. As you know, we talked a little bit before the show. I used to play basketball at Algoma. I mean, oh gosh, this is 10, 12 years ago now. But I played there, and we definitely weren't the strongest team at the time. I think if we won maybe 2 games a year, it was a big deal back then. I've seen the program do a little bit of this, like all the way through, and as an alumni, I just want to get his thoughts on where he thinks the program is and just how it's progressed from the last regime.
And that's the thing is, again, we all know, they say, and we'll touch base on it before he comes on, is Tom Corey has moved, I say, just down, like I say, down Highway 17 to North Bay with the Nipissing Lakers. So he's down there now in ATN. More or less, long story short, before he gets on, is he came in 2 weeks before the season even started last year.
Yeah.
So it's something he was thrown into the fire or to the wolves right away, and brought in a lot of players and started bringing that level up to OUA. Not that Tom didn't, but brought it up to another level, I guess you say.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm excited to talk to him. It'll be my first time getting to actually speak to him. And, again, as an alumni, it's nice to just to kind of see where the program is. And we'd like to see it keep progressing, right? So.
Well, and my biggest thing, and I won't bring it up and preach with him because I do it with every interview with players that come on board this year, the new guys, is I said the first thing I say in the interview is, what would it mean to you as a young man to take this school to their first postseason in that program? And they say it's not comparable to a championship, but it'd be the next best thing because it'd make history for Algoma.
For sure. Yep.
They've been there for the OCAA, but that was a university playing in the college level. Now they're playing with the big boys against Carleton, Ottawa, Western. They're playing the big schools now.
Yeah, yeah. And, I do think that if you look at the history of the coaches, I do think that certain coaches were brought in at the right time for the program. And to see the program escalate, I think back to when, Jeff Juvenati took it over when I played there, and he definitely brought the program up a level. he got us bags. We actually had tracksuits. Like we actually looked like a basketball team. Then Tom Corey took over, and Thomas Corey took it to a whole nother level, right? He brought us into the OUA and everything. Now I'd like to see what level he wants to hit. So for here, to hear that he wants to go to the playoffs, that's a big deal.
And that's exactly it. And when Ottawa and Carleton, again, for Sioux Sports, we stream all their games. We cover them, of course, and Bob Davies does all the photos, but we stream all their games on OUA TV, and it's gone to the next level. And we'll do that with Coach, but it's where they're competing against Ottawa and Carleton. And when you're competing against Ottawa and Carleton, the women's team, for instance, took a win over them. So that when you can be one of the number one ranked teams, the program's going somewhere in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of funny. I know it's two different leagues, and I know we were part of what was the OC or OFC?
OCAA.
OCAA. That's how long ago it was. I can't even remember. But when we were part of the OCAA, I look at I look at our best players back then, and this is no offense to those guys because there were some good players, but they wouldn't even make this team, the talent level, right? So I look at guys that won our MVP would definitely probably not make this team, or no, would definitely not make this team. So, it's just nice to see, right?
Yeah. And like I say, now go ahead.
I do think, though, that it's a shame that there's not more fans at the games. I will say that. I know obviously we can't go during COVID, but I went to a couple games last year. And this isn't a plug because I don't work for Algoma or anything, but it's just it's good entertainment. I enjoyed it. I was surprised to see that there weren't more people there. I just don't know if they don't understand the quality of basketball or what, but it was good. So
and that's something, again, that's what they're trying to change out of Algoma. And when it comes to Ryan Vitry and the girls, and then the coach ATN, and here he is. So we'll bring him in and we'll talk more, and we'll razz him a little bit. How are you, Coach?
I'm doing very well. Happy New Year to both of you. It's good to see you guys.
Now, first things first, you in Montreal or lockdown, or are you in Sault Ste. Marie in lockdown?
No. Sault Ste. Marie lockdown. Right here in the Sioux, and basically, I guess, living the lockdown.
Better than curfew in Montreal, I guess.
Listen, the curfew that's going on over there, it's something else. 7:50, people are running home to be home to get back home at 8. So hey, it makes me think. Remember that movie? I can't remember the name of the movie, but there was that movie where you basically had to run home, right? Before your time ran out. I feel like that's what they're living in Quebec. So hopefully it doesn't come our way.
We'll find out tomorrow. Doug Ford says, right?
I haven't been following, so we'll see. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Trying to keep the positive vibes, right?
Exactly. Well, Tony, this part here I'm going to hand to you mostly because, again, you haven't talked with Coach, and people are probably sick of me talking to Coach every seeing our faces all the time. So I'll turn this over to you.
Sounds good. Hey, Coach. So I'm not sure if you knew this, probably not actually. So I was a member of Algoma. I played for the Thunderbirds back, probably about 10, 12 seasons ago, before Thomas Corey was there. Yeah, and we were talking a little bit earlier about.
Sorry, he wasn't that weight though, Coach.
Yeah, I was a little skinnier back. And I was talking about the evolution of the program. So, Jeff Juvenati came on at what I felt like was the right time. And he brought the program to another level, no question. Then Thomas Corey came in and he took it to another level again, right? Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to know, what's the level that you see that you can take this team to now?
Really, when you talk about a level, I don't like to limit myself in terms of levels of where I see we can be. I just really want to be one of the best programs that we can be, right? If you took a little bit of a look at my background, my previous programs, I've always been able to either win a championship or have some great talent come out of the program. And that's what I'm aiming to do right now as well, right? Be a little bit bigger, be a little bit stronger, have better IQ guys, and do something historical for us, right? Which means making the playoffs, beating our rivals, doing these little things. The northern schools. We're coming for you guys. So that's what we're trying to do, and we want to have that level of competition, right? And just play and be recognized as an elite program in this country.
So one, and I'm not sure if this has been an issue for you at all, but over the last couple, I won't say that, but during Algoma's history, they've been known to recruit a lot of athlete students, right? One and done guys that would come in for 1 year, play a year, and then they would move on. What steps have you done to try and change that? And because it's clear that I can see a change already. So what have you done to try and change that image, or do you think you've had to do anything?
Sorry, Coach, I'm going to interrupt there before Bono, you go any farther. Is from my point of view, from Sioux Sports, and we stream all the games. And I'll use another example, and it's not throwing him under the bus, but Coach Hovey in soccer, he came in and said to me about early December, he's noticed a huge culture change, and he's been there at Algoma for years, culture change with that basketball team, the unity and everything else. And I didn't mean to interrupt, but when you see another OUA coach notice that, you must be doing something right.
Guys, I'm going to take your compliments, and it's good that you say that. For me, I never really came in and wanted to change. For me, culture, if I was to give you an example, you guys are going to tell me how our culture is, right? You should tell me, okay, you know what, at Algoma University, that is the culture. But for us, really my goal is just to do things the way we're supposed to do them, right? Do them the right way, get everything done the way it's supposed to be done, and input my imprint by applying my vision and working on our mission the whole time. So for me, it's really recruiting high-level character guys. If you recruit high character guys that want to accomplish certain things, they know that it's not going to be a quick fix, and they know that they need to put some time in. And time in needs 2, 3, 4 years, get your diploma in order to be the best basketball player you can be. So for me, it's just coming in and being myself. I'm definitely going to be anal on certain things. I'm definitely going to be tough on other things.
You're never anal, Coach.
And there's other places where, we're going to have lots of fun and everything like that. But we're just not going to accept, I shouldn't say we, myself, as the leader of the basketball program, I'm just not going to accept guys that don't have that leadership attitude, that high character attitude, and that don't want to get better. So if you have that, I feel the culture will set itself, right? Because then once you start recruiting individuals, I mean, they're going to set the culture, but we're just doing what we need to do to be successful. And if that changes the culture, then it does.
That's amazing. I love hearing that. Very well said. That's awesome. So obviously COVID's going on. Have you heard anything about the basketball season? Is the basketball season done? Is there any chance of a mini tournament? Is there any chance of exhibitions? Have you heard anything?
Right. I mean, right now we're in lockdown, so it's tough. On my end, I'm really blessed to have a university that is willing to find solutions so that the kids can train, the kids can do different things in a safe environment. So right now we're there, but we haven't figured out a way to travel yet and do all these other things, and that's the most important part, right? If we're doing our things right in terms of keeping the kids safe, we want to make sure that if ever we travel somewhere else, we can provide that same level of safety for the kids. So at this present moment, no, we do not have any exhibition plans or plans to have anybody come up, but definitely it's in the works. I've been contacted some different peoples, and hopefully some different individuals, different teams, and hopefully we find a way to get some people up here, or we find a way to get down there in a safe environment for the kids.
Will these kids lose a year of eligibility due to this, or will they be able to still play another year?
Well, basically, like I told them, if you get professional training with me for a year without any cost, And
Yeah,
you don't get a lot of things for free.
yeah. Oh, that's good. I like that. That's awesome. Have the majority of guys are the majority of guys here in the SU right now? Are they on campus?
Well, right now the guys are trickling in, definitely. We definitely have guys coming in and ready to train. Right now, like the lockdown is going on, so we should be getting back in real soon. We're just waiting for basically a way for us to train so that it's safe. As we are at an elite standard, I guess the word they use is elite training. So we're an elite team, so we'll figure out a way to train real soon. But right now, we're really just talking, having some discussions, and getting our IQ up and doing all of that until we can figure out a way to train.
That's and awesome. So, and Coach, before Christmas, you almost your whole roster, except for the two brothers in the States, were more or less in Sault Ste. Marie, right?
We're basically all here. When I say basically, I mean the whole team was here. We really had one guy that wasn't there and that had the freedom to come up. So everyone else was there. All the other guys, they either had hindrance, they were not able to come up, or they wanted to come up, but borders closed or something like that. So I mean that's part of it. I mean that's part of things that we want to do. Hey, listen, if you can be there, you should be there, and that's how we do things. And like you guys said, if it changes the culture, then all the better for it. But guys want to be here, and we try to get them up here as quickly as we can.
So when you applied for this job and they offered it to you, was there a lot of thought for you to come up? Was there a lot of hesitation? I mean, coming from Montreal, the Montreal area, and then coming up to Sault Ste. Marie, right? I'm assuming that would be a bit of a shock to you anyway. But was there a lot of thought put into that?
Definitely. I mean, you come up, it's a new environment. I'm a chocolate brother, so I wanted to see if I could be, feel. How can I say this? Feel good being in the city. Have the ability to do all these things. Really, it's important, right? Because you want to start building a family atmosphere with all the guys you're recruiting, and yourself as well. So that was part of it. But once I met everybody here and I got here, and the airport is 15, 20 minutes away, really. I mean, I saw a lot of advantages to being here and coaching in this environment, right? And I mean, the city is looking for a winner, and that was always my dream to coach in a place where there's a city that wants to win, that wants to win at basketball, that wants to be good, that wants to get back to a championship level. Because from all I've been reading in terms of the historical basketball aspect in Algoma, we won the championship at the lower level, so why not win it at this level? And once you hear that, I mean, I felt it was a no-brainer. I mean, it's safe. Let's work.
And they wanted the lower level when Bono wasn't on the roster, Coach.
Hey, you know what?
He's a football guy. He's not a basketball guy.
Hey, you know what? Once we win this one, everybody run on the court. We can all celebrate together, man. Family thing. Don't worry about it. I got you all of you, all the alumni. You all run off the court. Celebrate with us.
So to your point, though, quickly. So I went to I'll be honest. Since I've been back, I hadn't gone to many games, just because I heard a lot of stuff and I just didn't end up going. Right.
So you commentated one game, Bono.
Sorry.
You commentated one of the games, though.
That's what I was going to say. Last year, I commentated a game for Sioux Sports, and that was my first game back, and I was shocked by the talent level on the team, by the coaching, by the just the overall atmosphere. I was really, really impressed with what I saw, and I actually went to I think every other game last season. I was a little bit surprised that there weren't more people there. I do think that what you said is right. It is a fun. It's an up. It's just an exciting thing, and the city wants a winner. Is there anything that you like? What was your hand in the game day promotions or anything like that, or what did you bring from your previous job to this job that you think has started to make these changes and help?
Well, first is just trying to be elite, trying to have guys that first of all want to play the game to win. Sometimes you do have individuals that want to play for uh, other reasons than winning. But the second part is last year, unfortunately, I didn't have much time to get out into the community and talk to different people and reach out to the kids and do all these things, right? So that's what I'm trying to do better this year. So be
Mhm.
out in the community. I started EJ Ballers. I started going out in the community, seeing kids and talking to a lot of individuals and to get to know me, right? They need to get to know me, get to know the players so that we have more people out there. I mean, it's natural. If you're connected to someone, right? If you're connected to someone, you're gonna want to come and see their games. So that's what we're trying to do. And the other thing is, we got to come in and start beating our rivals. It always happens this way. When the Montreal Canadiens beat the Toronto Maple Leafs, then
Right.
it starts filling up, and it has to be the same. When we play the Northern schools, we got to start competing and beating them, and then gradually you'll have more fans at the game.
I love it. What's your recruiting class looking like next year? Have you started that yet, or is it still too early in the process? Or I know you're losing. I think you're losing a couple of players this year, right? That So what have you started the recruiting process?
Yes, you're always recruiting. I'm one of those guys that always recruits. I'm always looking at guys. I'm always looking to make additions, positive additions to a roster, in order to be competitive. So definitely, I started right now. Definitely communicating with a couple of guys. We're definitely going to be bigger. We're definitely going to be stronger, more versatile. We're going to be younger as well. I mean, if you want to build something, sometimes it's better to take younger guys that have an open mind so you can change a lot of their thinking. And I think we're going to be very competitive. Let's just use that word. We're going to be very competitive. That's the goal. So, in terms of recruiting, I'm always on it. And we're definitely going to have some guys from different countries coming in. We're going to have some guys with different backgrounds, and we're going to put all of that together and create a great team to watch.
And coach, and it says something even during the lockdown back in November. You weren't even playing, and you brought two new players in that we're going to start this semester at Algoma. So it shows
Mhm.
that how interested are they want to come and play at Algoma, right?
That's right. And it's funny that you say that because they were talking to me like, before, uh, people were putting Algoma at the bottom of their list for recruiting, but now, uh, no lies, I'm starting to get a lot more emails, a lot more interest, a lot more of, and it's partly part of you guys. You guys are coming out promoting it, talking about it online, but also, the kids are starting to realize, hey, listen, we're trying to change something. We're trying to do things the right way. So now I'm starting to get some phone calls. I'm starting to get uh, some real serious recruits wanting to come up at Algoma. So props to everyone that's helping me do it. And I just have to pick the best character guys. Makes my job easy when you guys are helping out.
And Bono, I'm going to ask here is I don't know if you know he added Winston Ivy to his roster. Your thoughts on
Oh,
Winston?
good
Hmm.
for you. I coached against Winston for I coached high school basketball, so
Right.
so I coached against Winston for a lot of years. So
Hmm.
you'll enjoy his excitement and his enthusiasm.
Hey, listen, Winston, I love it when he's around. He's coming in, he's working with the guys. He has some free time. He's there. He's putting in some time. Winston has been a great addition to the program. To be honest with you, I like having him around, and he himself as well. He came in with an open mind, and we're working together. It's a good synergy. It's great, and I'm looking to add a few more guys as well to the coaching roster.
Do you think it's important to recruit or have at least one or two Northern kids on the team based strictly with the Sioux being in a Northern community? Is that something you've ever thought about? I just thought about that right now, and I was just wondering if that was
Mhm.
something you'd ever consider.
For me, it's always better to have homegrown talent. If you can groom that talent and have them come and play in their hometown, it's always great. But I will not sacrifice a spot just to have a homegrown talent. He's gonna have to, earn it and be there. So if you see a homegrown guy on our team, that means he deserves it. He did the right things and he's able to play. So that's even better than having a homegrown talent and he's riding the bench and he can't play. So definitely you want to take care of your backyard. You want to make sure the guys that are there are guys that can play. But other than that, I'm not really particular or big on it. I'm definitely going to look at every single Northern kid that sends me something, and then if he deserves it, he'll be on the team. If not, well, I got to groom some guys so that a couple years down the line we can have some great Northern players on the basketball team.
Yeah, I love that attitude. Yeah, that's what we need. So,
right.
Anything else, Jay?
And Coach, while we have you on here, it's something that we should touch base with is EJ. When it comes to EJ Ballers, you talk a little bit about what EJ Baller is, and with everything that's going on, can people still sign up?
Oh yeah, definitely. EJ Ballers. Really, what I want is to bring the level of fun for basketball right in the community. I felt like kids wanted to play basketball. I was seeing them playing a little bit outside, so I said, you know what, let's start a program where basketball is fun, where we get to talk to kids in the community. They get to come in twice a week and play a little basketball, have a little fun, and also get to meet some of the guys, some of the players, and some of the coaches, and get some instruction. We keep it fairly light. We just want to make sure everybody gets better and we have a little fun, and then that's how you get known in the community. So that's the vision, right? Trying to bring the kids into the community, come and play basketball, and teach them a little bit about our mindset, how you can become successful at doing certain things if you train the right way. Really, that's the goal of EJ Ballers. Just have fun and play basketball and get better and get to know the guys, and later on come and see some games at Algoma University.
And we again, that's just sports. We fielded a few questions, and with this lockdown and everything, and technically you were supposed to be on the court tonight, but with everything happening, you aren't. Parents are a little worried about registering because of what's happening. The registration's still open. I know they can go to ejballers.com, but tell them what they can expect if the lockdown lifts in the next week or so.
Okay, well, basically, you can still register at ejballers.com. Register your kid. It's important because it's kind of filling up real fast, right? Register, and then we should start. From what I've heard, on the 25th, things should be able to get going. So really, all I'm waiting for is the ability for the public to attend the GLC, and then the first date that we start, then we'll run the 11-week program. So even if you've made payments or you're thinking about maybe should I make those payments, no, we're gonna go all out, and we're gonna make sure we get to the end and create those 11 weeks with your kids and make them have fun with basketball, right? So once the GLC allows for public access, definitely first thing that's gonna be going on is EJ Ballers, and that's for everyone in the community, including we're gonna have some Indigenous kids there. We're gonna have anybody that's in the community. You want to play basketball, definitely EJ Ballers is a place where you wanna register and you want to come and play. You want your kids to come out and play basketball.
And I talked to many parents from your fall session that were very excited. The kids enjoyed themselves so much. Do you have some of those kids coming back for the winter session?
Oh yes, really have a lot of registrations already. That's why I'm saying, the numbers, it's filling up really quickly. So make sure you register, right? My goal is not to turn away any kid, right? But like, they might put some restrictions on numbers and stuff like that. But my goal is not to restrict it to anyone. Anybody that feels that, they want to learn a little bit about basketball, have fun, hey, register and come and enjoy it. The first group, they loved it. Now we're just going to keep it going. And the parents are even asking me if we could keep this going on for years and years. So why not, right? We started something. Let's keep going and let's help these kids grow with basketball.
What age groups, Coach?
Age group, anyone from grade 1 to grade 12. If you want to come in and play, so basically, what is it, 12, 13, or even younger than that, 11, 10, 11 years old until basically grade 12. So if you're in that age group, you can definitely come and participate.
And they got no seniors category anymore there, Bono.
I was just thinking, I'm like, man.
I'm actually thinking about a seniors category. I have some thoughts on that. Maybe, and I'd like to have maybe get some adults playing together. Why not have a little adult team and go out and play, and maybe I can be on that team as well, and just have a little bit of fun and just play a little bit here and there. That'd be awesome.
Coach, go ahead, Bono.
If you really want to see my skills, just invite me to the next alumni game, and I'll come and play.
Definitely, next alumni game, I got to get everybody. Hey, that's one thing I got to do: get everybody in the city that played for Algoma or that participated in the basketball program to come out and play an alumni game. Definitely.
Oh, that'd be fun. Yeah.
The thing is, Coach, do you have a defibrillator, and do you know how to work it if you have that?
You know what? I'll get the alumni together. We'll see if we can get a couple of practices in. Make sure make sure we're good. Make sure we show good to the kids.
Oh,
if you promise beer afterwards, they'll be there, Coach.
Oh yeah.
Definitely, the beer is going to be there. I want it to be a fun night where we all get together and we can continue the tradition, right? We already have a championship tradition. Let's just continue that tradition.
And it's something that gets the alumni to meet the players that are playing for you now too, right?
Yes. It's always good to meet the alumni. Like, you get to meet individuals that were in your position, right? They can help you out. They can tell you how the school is, how everything works. And the other thing is they can tell you where they're at, right? Doctors, lawyers, own businesses, do all these different things. So sometimes it's good to just have a game with these guys, and they can let you know that, they can tell you the old stories about basketball and how it was, and how they're going to support you with your new endeavors and stuff like that. And that's what I love the most about alumni games. You get to talk to these guys, and you learn so much about the history of the program. And then the new guys, now they feel some pride and they want to continue that great history of the program. So alumni game is amazing. It's good to have.
And Coach, one other thing before we let you go, I don't know if you know, Tony works with the Canadian Mental Health.
Right.
With your guys being in town and not against any other the programs in the OUA, when it comes to mental health, being what you're doing is probably helping your players a lot more than other teams that don't have their players on campus, right?
It is. I mean, mental health really comes down to, I know, basic mental health. It really comes down to having the ability to feel good in your mind, right? And if you're with some guys that have the same vision and you can talk to them, communicate with them, convey the same kind of messaging, then it helps. It helps your mental health, right? And if you have the ability to train as well, and you can be together with them in a room, or for us in a gym, and we're doing something that we love, it's always great on the mental health. So I've been telling the guys, listen, minor setback, let's keep everything together. Let's keep communicating amongst each other. Let's spread those positive vibes, and let's keep getting better. Because at one point, all of this is going to get going again, and we want to be ready, and we want to create some great memories for one another. And that's I guess the perfect definition of mental health, right? Feeling good and wanting to do something great.
And Tony, from your side, that's huge, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the mental health, I feel really bad for, high school athletes and for, college level athletes this season. I mean, this is the prime of their lives, and they're missing out on the season. And, we start to see the effects of it. I see the effects of it with people I work with all the time. So it's nice to hear that that's happening, and with you guys, and I agree. So good job. Yep.
Well, Coach, we can't thank you enough for taking the time, and we'll surely have you back on when things come around, and we'll be able to talk more basketball.
Yes, sir, guys. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure talking to you guys, and anytime, guys, anytime.
Well, thank you very much. So, yeah, he likes to talk, eh, Bone?
Hey, that's the first time I spoke to the guy, and I'm ridiculously impressed. I love his vision. I love his energy, his passion, and I really like what he says about the character people, a character, drafting the character person. And yeah, I'm really, really impressed.
And it's something I got to see, like say him last year, coach, but because of being thrown in at the last minute, now next year even bigger because be able again. Unfortunately, this year he can't. Next year will be even bigger because he'll be able to have a regular season and a season underneath his belt, right?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm really impressed. I love everything he said. I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see what happens.
Now, next thing we're going to touch base on is something that, like I say, close and dear to our hearts is the hockey and 2021 NHL training camps. A lot of players there from Sault Ste. Marie. Today, like I say, one was like go from the Boston team and put on waivers, and then but on the other hand, Morgan Frost has been named to the opening roster as of this evening. So for Philly, so it's huge.
Yeah, I mean, how I was going to segue into this was I wrote an article or I did a letter to the editor years ago about Kyle Dubas, and for some reason the Sioux Stars pulled all their old ads, so I got to find that somewhere. But when Dubas was first hired and he made that Jack Campbell trade, obviously it was Sault Ste. Marie, right? So when Dubas was hired originally, there was a little bit of pushback in town. Then the Jack Campbell trade happened, right, where he gave up, I think it was 4 second-round picks and a bunch of other stuff for Campbell. And that trade really didn't work out like I'm sure we all hoped it would. And there was a lot of pushback on Dubas and a lot of questions about him. I wrote a letter to the editor at the Sioux Star, and I basically just talked about how normally people in Sault Ste. Marie are critical of the Greyhounds, on a normal basis. We're critical of all the GMs, but we usually support our homegrown people. We usually support people from the Sioux who do really good things. Dubas was hired here, and it was like, let's give this kid a chance because who knows what he could do, right? And I got some pushback for saying that, but that doesn't matter. But if you look on this list, this is like, you know what? Obviously, Dubas knew what he was doing.
Exactly.
And a lot of these kids were drafted by him or obviously played here, and he obviously knew what he was doing. So that was my initial reaction when I saw that list.
And that's exactly it. And it says something about the Greyhounds and the community. Like you say, a lot of the guys are from out of town that played for the Greyhounds, but like a kid like Michael Amadio, Colin Miller, Jordan Nolan are from the Sioux. But there's 20 guys who still have ties to Sault Ste. Marie and are skating or trying to make the rosters. Most of them are on the rosters, but making the rosters right now for opening this week, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the Sioux is amazing. I mean, there was an old story going around, or an old joke going around from a couple of my buddies that used to play pickup hockey here, and this is when the days when Dan Kluche was here. So it was Dan Kluche, Marty Turco, and Ray Emery, and you go to summer ice here, and you go skate around. And you'd have 3 NHL goalies, and one of them couldn't be a goalie. So you had, and that's just that summer. You had 3 starting NHL goaltenders on the ice at the same time. Just that doesn't happen, right? For
the amount of talent that Sault Ste. Marie produces with the Greyhounds or homegrown players, right?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So I'm a little bit. I'm shocked to see Senyshyn get placed on waivers today. Remember when he played here, the kid was the fastest hockey skater I had ever seen. He rivaled McDavid when they were out playing together in terms of how they skated. And I'm a little surprised to see that he, to see him get put on waivers today. I really liked him.
And
was there?
Go ahead.
Was there anyone that you were surprised to see put on waivers?
No, he's like, see, he was probably one of the biggest ones. The one I'm rooting for, and I haven't heard today, and I've been watching. Love to see Nolan make Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Jordan Nolan, again, a character guy. See, it's funny because I know these guys are all in the NHL now, but I knew them and dealt with them back when they played in the OHL, right? So, a little Jordan Nolan story, quick one. There was a guy who played for the Sarnia Sting, and his name was Kyle Newber, and he was the biggest human being I had ever seen on skates. He used to sit in the penalty box next to me all the time, and his hands were he had the biggest fists I'd ever seen. And he was a rough and tumble guy. And Jordan Nolan, no one ever wanted to fight Newber. No one wanted to touch this guy. Jordan Nolan fought him in one game here, and he knocked him out. He knocked out Newber. It was the first time I think he'd ever been beaten in a fight, because when he came to the box, he says to me, he goes, "That's never happened before." And so Jordan Nolan, I mean, just a team guy, and for him to be able to mix it up with the best win and still be one of the best players on the ice just shows what a dominant player he was back in here for the Hounds.
And going back to touch base when you say Kyle Dubas, they're at the bottom. I had to put them at the bottom of the pile, and my father-in-law was going to love it. Then I put Toronto back at the bottom of the pile, like where they usually are. But they got four guys there, and you have Wayne Simmons and Joe Thornton, who are probably in their last couple of years of NHL career. But from what the media is saying, those guys are loving it so far in Toronto.
Yeah, I'm sure they are, and that's all Sheldon Keefe too, right? I think Keefe's definitely a player coach, and it's nice to see him do that. One other thing I wanted to show you real quick, I have this puck somewhere, and every time I see the name Jared McCann, I will always remember this. So Jared McCann, one game, he took a shot and he hit the crossbar. He shot the puck so hard that he dented the puck. So I don't know if you could see that, but he dented the puck when he shot. He had, like I said, I have that puck somewhere, but the refs had to stop the game and come over, and they said, "I've never seen anything like that before. I've never seen that happen before." And that was the hardest shot ever. So that's another little interesting Jared McCann thing is, yeah, he shot that puck hard.
and that's the thing is, when it comes to guys at this level, it's something the referees and linesmen, when you see something like that, it's just crazy, right?
Oh, it's insane. Yeah. But it is fun. Like that's why we're lucky to have the Greyhounds up here, right? And that's why I think it's super important that we support the Sioux Greyhounds. I know people complain about all sorts of things regarding them, but it is really cool to be able to say that we see this talent on a yearly basis. It's really cool to have an OHL team. I was really disappointed with the turnout to games last year. I didn't like that at all. I mean, just because they were they weren't a terrible team, and people just weren't going, right? So I do think it's important that we support that team so it stays here in the Sioux.
Now, when is your memoir coming out about like you say, Memories of the Box?
It's funny you say that because I could write a book. I really could. I mean, I have so many stories about working in that penalty box that it's hilarious. I'll give you my favorite one real quick. I can't say his name because I don't want to get him in trouble, obviously, but a player that played for the Sarnia Sting years and years ago. Him and I, he was in the box quite a bit. So him and I struck up a pretty good friendship over the 5 years. And so it was like his second last game in the Sioux or something, and he gets a penalty. So him and I are in the box chatting, and we're having a great old conversation. And it's like, "Oh man, your penalty's over. You got to get it back on the ice." He goes, "I'll be right back." I open the door. He steps on the ice, trips a guy right in front of the penalty box, blatantly, turns around, comes back to the box, and just continues our conversation. So just continued it like nothing happened, right? It's just like, oh man. So yeah, there's a bunch of good ones.
The other story, I don't know, bringing up name, you've told me the name, but about being not usually in the penalty box. But the next time he came back to town, he asked you remember who your name and your name was. Do you remember that story?
Max Domi. So, a lot of people, don't like Max Domi.
Oh, to be honest, they shit on him, right?
Yeah, because of the way he plays. He plays a rough and tumble game. Max Domi one game came, and this was when he got cut. Him and Darnell Nurse got cut from the World Juniors. So what ended up happening was this was right after Christmas. So Domi comes in the box, and I just said to him, I said, "Hey man, sorry you got cut from the World Juniors. I really thought you should have made it." And he looks me dead in the eye, and he goes, "Hey, I felt more bad for Nurse. Nurse was the one that probably should have made it over me. Feel bad for him." And then Domi went on to talk about how it was nice to see the Hounds doing well, and the Sioux's a really good hockey city. And I'm like, who are you? What's going on? So
nothing like his dad, right?
No. So right before he gets out of the penalty box, he goes, "What's your name?" And I go, "Oh, I'm Tony." He goes, "Well, hopefully I don't see you again, Tony." And he takes off, right? Because he doesn't want to come into the penalty box. Next season, whole year comes around. London played 2 games here. The first game, he didn't get a penalty. The second game, he got a penalty. And as he skates to the box, I'm telling everyone what a great guy Domi is. He skates to the box. He sits up right next to me, like shoulder to shoulder. And he goes, "Hey, what's up, Tony?" And so just the fact that he remembers you and just shows the type of character he is, right? So.
And when you're playing that amount of games for mostly a team like that, because they go to the postseason, to come over the box and sit beside you and remember your name, it shows, like you said, the character of the players, right?
Oh, absolutely. And there are all sorts of great guys. PK Subban, amazing. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Connor McDavid was the most focused human being I had ever seen in a penalty box. I had a few conversations with Connor, but man, his brain never shut off. He'd be in the penalty box watching, you could see him he'd be talking to himself almost like, "No, you're supposed to be here." And he was coaching guy. He was just amazing. He was a machine.
Now, if you again, like I said, no, we're talking training camp, but again, we're talking the hockey and the guys who moved on. If you could have somebody who sat down beside you in the penalty box and you went, "Holy shit, now they're in the NHL," who would that player be? Not, oh my God, as a star, but who would be the one that you would say remember the most?
Yeah, that's a really good question, actually. I would probably say one of the ones that I got along the best with, but was probably the biggest jerk.
Is it on the ice or in the penalty box?
No, just not the biggest jerk. That's not what I want to say. But I got along really well with Stamkos. But the thing about Stamkos was, as a younger kid, he was very demanding, we'll say. He knew what he wanted, right? And he knew he was a good player, and he was just very I don't want to say cocky or arrogant, but he knew he was good, right? He knew he was a good player. And but I got along great with Stamkos. A lot of people here didn't like him, and I fortunately did get along pretty well with him. So yeah.
So that would be the one. Now, we touched base last week about the OHL and the no season, but I'm just going to bring this up for a minute, read it really fast, and see, again, if a week's time has changed anything for us. This here is from, like you say, the WHL. Ron Robinson from the president or the commissioner, I guess. The WHL is committed to providing a season for the WHL players. This commitment ensures WHL players will receive the opportunity to compete at the highest level in the system and continue to pursue their hockey goals in the world's finest development league for junior hockey players. Now, the thing, Tony, is they're saying they're going to have a 24 to 26 game. Their advantage is they got 5 teams in the States where we only have 3. Is that a good sign for fans in OHL, you think, or are we still waiting and like a teeter-totter waiting what's happening?
Okay, so I did a little research on this before we got on air and a little bit today. So BC today, 617 cases. They currently have 6,118 active cases. Manitoba has 3,414 active cases. Alberta has 14,116 active cases. Ontario, active cases as of about 3 hours ago, 46,782. So obviously Ontario is the biggest province, and obviously there's more people in Ontario. But the point is I think it's a little bit more spread out over there on the West Coast. The other thing is the WHL came out and said that they would need 50% capacity to make this season viable. So they would have to have 50% of all the seats sold for every game in order to be able to do it. And like I talked about last week, I don't understand how the Sioux Greyhounds are going to make this work, unless the league gives them some sort of subsidy, because it just won't be financially feasible. It would cripple them for the future. So I don't know how that would work. I don't know how they're going to pay for it. The WHL did waive that 50% capacity, so they might have some sort of subsidy that they're giving out. That's the only reason why this league can actually go on. So
now, the talk is, and some of the players in the OHL think of maybe going overseas because some of the leagues are playing over there. But at 18, 19, I know a lot of the Europeans play in those leagues, but do you think our 18, 19-year-olds should go over for 2 or 3 months?
Tough question. I mean, not right now, not with the travel restrictions. I don't think anyone should be traveling anywhere, no matter what. I just, just right now for what we're going through, it's going to get worse before it gets better. And especially right now, I think we're in a crucial 2-month period right here, 2 to 3 month period, where we'll start to see vaccines hopefully roll out by March, April, slowly in Canada here. And but for the next 2 or 3 months, we have to be really careful. So obviously, kids don't want to hear that, and their whole careers are on the line, and I understand that. But you have to go health and safety first. And obviously, it's easier for someone to say, at my age, but it's a hard decision. I don't know what the right answer is.
And that's exactly it. And you talk to one person, they think it's so. It's some people say this, and some people say that. Biggest thing, we won't know anything in Ontario until tomorrow afternoon, until Premier Ford speaks his mind. Right?
There is no curfew, though, according to what I was reading on CBC.
Yeah.
About 20 minutes before we came on.
So hopefully that's this year again. This is only our second week, but we've come up with Bono's choice. What now?
Well, we've already been on here for a while, so I won't be too. We won't have anything that's too wild and crazy. But Jay, I wanted to ask you. I don't know if I should. In your experience here so far in Sault Ste. Marie, which sports organization do you find to be most accommodating to what you want to do at Sioux Sports and broadcasting games and getting things involved? Has there been one sport? It doesn't need to be organization. I'm just saying specifically sport. Has there been one sport that has really taken you on and helped with Sioux Sports?
We'll put a GOMA to the side because the GOMA to the side is more from a business end, and it's helped Sioux Sports. Right now, and going back, a lot of what we talked about on this show is hockey. Is Sioux Major, like say at the rep level right now, and high school hockey, other sports want they say we want permission for you. Like I have to ask permission to come in. Where, like say, the rep program is a little bit different, but high school hockey, I just have to show up. I don't even have to tell them I'm there. Hockey is the one that's really liking it. We're starting to do a little bit of basketball, but hockey, just they're embracing it. And when we ask parents to share it out to social media, we're getting families from all over watching it also.
No, that's awesome. That's a good answer. I was curious about that. I've been thinking about that for a while. I wasn't sure which sport has really taken to this, right, and taken to this format. You'd like to see more of them do it. That's for sure. Because what were you saying the views were on the figure skating?
Between 2,000 and 2,500.
Yeah, like that's unbelievable, right?
Where,
So
where we did the four midget games, but technically they were only two midget games because of the
yeah,
way it worked, and we were over 5,000 views, and that's only 4 hours of hockey.
yeah. So yeah, so I do. I really like what you've done here with Sioux Sports, and this isn't just a plug or anything, but I do. I'm impressed with what you've done so far, and I hope to see all this continue. That's for sure.
And you just want more of it, so that people can hear your voice on it too, right?
That's right. I know everyone's dying to hear my opinion. So
You, Bimbaco, Monaco. Actually, Dom DeLuca stepped in with Monaco, Bimbaco when we did the
that's
Triple
right.
A midgets, and Dom's like, I didn't think I'd like this, and he goes, I'll do it anytime I can. So,
It is. It's fun. So absolutely.
so
Yeah.
question. My question for you now is, and say mine is like you say. Now, what's next is again a little bit more political, but on the NCAA side, I know you're going to hang up here tonight. Unless you have it on in the background with Ohio and Alabama. Should Ohio be in the final with only playing 7 games?
No. Absolutely not. I know that that's going to rub a lot of people the wrong way. I know I have a buddy that I've known for years, Ashton Young. He's a diehard Ohio State fan, but absolutely not. It is such an advantage to them. And I hear people say it's not an advantage and all this stuff. These guys are healthy now. They've played with each other. People were all concerned because they didn't look real good in a couple games. Of course not. It was still like their exhibition season. They're hitting their stride right now. And we saw what happened last week, right? Against Clemson. Destroyed them, right? They're just hitting their stride now. Plus, it's a big advantage because there's not as much tape on Ohio State as there is on Alabama. Right now, Ohio State can go and look at all these games, start to see tendencies, look up more plays, see a lot more. Alabama doesn't have that same advantage because Ohio State hasn't had to show much, right? So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a good game. I do think that Alabama will win. I hope Alabama wins because, if you're a Big Ten guy and if you're not an Ohio, if you cheer for anyone else, you despise Ohio State. so,
And
yeah,
that's something like say Ashton. If Ashton isn't watching, I am going to share it with him, so expect that.
good.
But if he was watching, he's probably cursing you right now, right?
Oh, I know. But my pick, I took. I think Alabama wins by 17.
Now, did Ohio make it not because of the 7 games, because of the Ohio State football history? There, you think did that help when it came to the selection committee?
100%. 100%. If that was okay, sorry. Yeah, it helped, but if it would, I'm not going to lie. If that was Michigan in those shoes, they would have let Michigan in. If it was Nebraska or somebody, they might have second guessed it or thought something different. But don't think for a second that if Michigan was in that position, they would have done it for Michigan too. I truly believe that. I don't think they would have done it for any other school except Michigan and Ohio State.
So, and then it's something. And you said Alabama by 7.
I think Alabama's going to win by 17. Despite everything I said about Ohio State and the advantage that they had, Alabama's offense, arguably, I think it's better than LSU's offense last year. I mean, I really do. I think Matt Jones, how he's not being considered, a top quarterback in this draft is mind blowing to me. I think he is just unbelievable. So, I almost hope the Lions snag him and get lucky and get him in the second round next year or something, right? Like, so we'll see. That's
Well, one player doesn't make a team, though, Bono.
say that again. Then they're good.
Right. Again, thanks for taking the time. We'll be back next week. And I know one topic that we're going to touch base on, and just to let you know now, and we talked about it today, is about the Matt Wheaton legacy. They're putting a tournament together in his memory. His brother, Greg Caruso, and a bunch of friends doing a one-day 7-on-7 tournament, and we're going to have them on to talk about it. And it's something that I think you coach a few of those guys, so it's something that will hit close to home too, right?
Absolutely, coached them all. Yeah, got lots to say about that, and we could talk about that next week. So,
and the last thing I want to put out there is our thoughts and prayers are with the Ruda family. Carlo's in Sudbury having surgery today, and has probably already had the surgery by now. But Carlo is so involved with Sault Ste. Marie sports and involved in hockey and football and that, and we just want to send our thoughts and prayers out there. And Bono, he's a friend of yours too, right?
oh, absolutely, one of the greatest guys from one of the greatest families in town. So, absolutely,
and we'll give you his shirt off his back.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, thank you, and again, thoughts and prayers, and we'll be here next week, 7:00 on Monday night.
Thanks.